Oh, I've got the sniffles today, guys. I've woken up with a bit of cold, sleeping under that blooming air conditioning unit. Let's have a swig of the old water root. Delightful. But don't worry, it's not the coronavirus because I got a test.
I think we all know what's happening now. Time to be tested. Negative! Negative! Terima kasih.
If you don't follow me on Instagram, then you're missing out on this kind of content. So just follow me, link in the description. Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for a Chelsea transfer news video. We're not really going to necessarily be talking like breaking news of any kind, but I'm going to try and give some logical reasoning today as to why I believe that Timo Werner could sign for Chelsea over Liverpool and why I think it's actually a feasible move not only for the club, but also for the player. Before we get into that though, I want to ask you to subscribe to the George Benson Football Channel. We're gaining momentum, 100k is approaching incredibly fast, and if you can, hit the like button on today's video. Let's see if we can hit 3,000. The first story that I'm going to address is Chelsea's continued interest in Ben Chilwell. Now, a lot of Chelsea fans, looking at social media in particular, you've got your social media fans, you've got your football Twitter, and then you've got your other fans who don't use social media. That was far more complicated than it needed to be. Ben Chilwell is a player who obviously would add to Chelsea's homegrown English quota that has been growing in recent seasons. We've not had that many English players in recent years. Some people believe that on this channel I want there to be more English players than non-English players. Let me just clarify something. I'm from England and I support England as a country and Chelsea. So if we can have more players from England, as an England fan, I'm going to be happy about that. It's not that I'm racist or it's not that I don't like people from countries that aren't the United Kingdom. I thought this would just be common sense. But to some people, it isn't. Ben Chilwell is England's #1 left back right now. Leicester City were asking for around 80 million for the left back, which, considering Corona has come in, if we're going to take any positives from what has been a dreadful situation, it probably does mean that Ben Chilwell's asking price is not going to be as high as an 80 million pounds. That being said, if we're looking at the balance of Chelsea social media, a lot of people would prefer to see Chelsea go for a definitively cheaper option, such as an Alex Telles who's looking likely to PSG, or a Tagliafico, who we've already spoken about a little bit here on this channel. Check the video out on the card. So if we're looking at what it would mean if we were to sign Ben Chilwell, you've got a potential left-hand side for both England and Chelsea, the link-up between Hudson-Odoi, a Mason Mount, and also a Ben Chilwell on the left. Obviously, Hudson-Odoi is more naturally a winger than a Mason Mount. Mason's just another option. Ben Chilwell and Callum Hudson-Odoi down that left-hand side, it isn't something that right now sparks fear in the ideas of defences of Premier League clubs, because I don't know if Ben Chilwell is yet at a level where we can compare him to, say, an Ashley Cole, who supposedly has been helping to try and push Chelsea to go for Ben Chilwell, as he sees him as the best replacement for a full-term left-back position player, as he sees him as the best long-term solution to the left-back role at Chelsea. It's definitely not the most frightening prospect at this moment, but I think with work, and if obviously they're playing together for England, playing together for Chelsea, Hudson-Odoi and Chilwell could start to create a really special chemistry down the left-hand side for Chelsea if we're assuming that Hakim Ziyech is probably going to be the right winger first choice next season. We don't know what's going to happen. We could still see that Hudson-Odoi, Reece James link up on the right with Pulisic playing on the left or Ziyech on the left. Frank has already got a lot of options in that position. Ben Chilwell, I'd like to see it happen, but I don't want to see Chelsea going anywhere above 50 million for the player. Even though a Tagliafico is available for half that price, we've got to look at the homegrown, we've got to look at Ben Chilwell's Premier League experience. We've also got to look at the fact that it weakens a rival to benefit us, which is actually a huge positive as well. In terms of my definitive decision as to whether I want Ben Chilwell at Chelsea, I do, but it is all price dependent. Supposedly, Abramovich has come out and said that Chelsea are going to make 2 marquee signings at minimum this summer, which really does show the financial muscle that Chelsea are willing to pump in. But Chilwell, as long as it's not over 50 million, I want to see it happen. The second story that we're going to talk about today, before we go into the big Timo Werner one, is Jesus. Corona, back at it again, being talked about on the George Benson Football Channel. Probably the worst unfunny joke I've ever made in my YouTubing career. Jesus Corona, the Porto winger, 27 goals in 212 Porto appearances. Corona is an explosive player. He's a player that supposedly Chelsea have contacted his agent, they've started to speak with the player, about the option to move to Chelsea in the summer. As always, in this current world that we're living in, where football stories are being plucked out of thin air and Neptune gets involved, so does Uranus, they send a few aliens down here, next thing you know, every player under the sun is linked with Club A, Club B, Club C. Corona is a winger who supposedly is going to be looking to leave Porto this summer, and I think considering the other names that Chelsea have been linked with in this winger position, Jesus Corona, despite being a very cheap option, he'd be a much cheaper than a Jadon Sancho. If we're looking at Abramovich's comments saying that Chelsea are willing to go out and make two marquee signings, Jesus Corona wouldn't be one of those signings. I personally think that if Chelsea are going to be looking for a winger, it's more likely that we're going to be pursuing one of our bigger targets, potentially a Jadon Sancho. So I know I'm a little bit late to that story because it came out a few days ago and I've not addressed it on the channel. I'm just not really interested in the player, to be quite honest. The Portuguese league, no disrespect, there's definitely players that we've been linked with that are playing at a higher level in more competitive leagues. So Jesus Corona for me, not someone we should be going for, but we move into someone who could potentially be playing in a similar position, who Chelsea should definitely be going for. We have 11 days to activate the release clause of Timo Werner. It's between 49 and 52 million pounds. And the immediate comparison that comes to my mind is the fact that we're selling Alvaro Morata for something similar. A man who came to Chelsea, we were promised a new number 9 who was going to lead the line at Chelsea for a few years. We've obviously got a new number 9 now. We've got Tammy Abraham. When Morata came in, there was only really one performance that stood out in my mind. Apart from the header against Man United, I went to Stoke away to the Britannia when Morata scored a hat-trick. He was absolutely phenomenal that day, and I thought that we had a striker that we could see lead the Chelsea line for many years to come. As with anything in football, any player can have a very good day and then all of a sudden, things happen off the field, which for me is definitely one of the main reasons why Morata failed at Chelsea. Too occupied with his life off the footballing field, which is okay, every footballer deserves a life off the pitch, but we deserve for them to deliver on the pitch. Works both ways. So the money that Chelsea are going to be bringing in for Alvaro Morata means that we can directly go and invest this back into activating that Timo Werner release clause, which arguably means that we're getting a freebie, considering that we've still got money coming in from Eden Hazard, and if we're just basically considering it like we're swapping Morata on the books at Chelsea for Werner, not only is it a brilliant signing for Chelsea in the attacking option sense, making those runs off the back and the shoulder of the last defender, and he can score goals in every possible way. We've seen this season, the man has scored some brilliant headers, the man scored with his right, the man can score with his left. He's got a powerful shot that often sees the keeper not being able to make the chance to make the save because he gets the shots in early, which I would actually go as far as to say has been Chelsea's biggest problem this season when it comes to actually finishing chances. We get into the final third and it's quite often a case of just flipping shoot. So many times this season, I felt as though we've not only missed a lot of chances that we have decided to take, but some of the chances that we've had where we've just not pulled the trigger have left Chelsea in positions where we could have won games if we'd have simply taken a shot. So that being said, I think that Timo Werner coming in, he's got that instinctive nature. He's got the ability to score goals with his head, to score with his right, and to score with his left. And it means that defenders don't really know what side to show to Werner. A lot of Premier League defending is often done in the 18-yard box, where Premier League defenders are trained to show to the weak side of a player. With Timo Werner, there's no such thing as that weak side. We see him rifling in goals in the 18-yard box with his left and right. And I think considering the market right now, despite money being tight for the majority of the footballing world, 50 million for a player of Timo Werner's ability, scored 20 plus goals in 3 of the last 4 seasons, I think this is an absolute bargain. And considering there's 11 days left on this deal, supposedly Liverpool, considering Liverpool are not looking likely to be spending that much money this summer. They're looking at Werner's release clause and they're supposedly saying, nah, too much money, we can't afford it. Chelsea need to be taking up this opportunity and hopefully in some point in the next 10 days we can see a proper approach being made from Chelsea to activate that Timo Werner release clause before it goes down to 36 million in 11 days time. So another way that I see Werner fitting in at Chelsea is the potential of him playing on the left and then cutting inside so that Tammy Abraham and him can create a partnership. If we look at the graphic on the screen, we've got Timo Werner coming in on the left, we've got Tammy up front with Hakim Ziyech or somebody else, depending on who we want it to be, on the right hand side. Whichever way we look at it, be it Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, this front three would cause defences in the Premier League all sort of problems. You've also got the ability of players such as Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who can be doing what we saw so typically of Frank Lampard over the years, where we've got these attacking players who can do everything from either side. We've got Tammy, who's the central striker. With players like Ruben and Mason Mount who can add to the Chelsea attack and press, we could be creating overloads in the final third, which could see so many different options for Chelsea and having dynamic elements, which means that Chelsea don't become a one-dimensional attack. If we're looking at it also from the perspective of giving Tammy Abraham a player who is at a kind of level right now that Tammy's striving to be, I'm not going to say that Tammy is that far away from Werner, but I think that in terms of obviously age and output, Timo Werner has been delivering at a higher level than Tammy Abraham for a few years more. So Werner is currently more of a complete striker, but Chelsea have given Tammy the backing. We're trying to get him to sign a new contract. And I think that Werner, even though he competes for the same position, I think it could be the best thing for Chelsea in the long run to have two strikers who are top-level strikers scoring big goals in the Premier League in Werner and Tammy Abraham. Now, obviously, in the title of the video, I've said why Chelsea FC will beat Liverpool to sign Timo Werner, and I think I've already kind of given enough reasons as to why that may be, and the majority of things right now in football is going to come down to the books of the clubs from the previous few years. I've spoken about the footballing economy in every flipping video since this virus took our beloved Chelsea away from us, but Chelsea are in a very good position, and the signing of Timo Werner, considering the money we've got still to come in from the Morata sale this summer from Atletico, Werner would be a player would still give Chelsea the ability to go and spend big on other targets, such as a Ben Chilwell that we mentioned earlier, or the dream signing of Jadon Sancho. Just imagine Sancho, Werner coming in at Chelsea. It's a little bit redonkulous to think how all these players would fit in. It's highly unlikely that we'll get both Sancho and Werner. That is a bit of a pipe dream. But Werner, as an option to actually bring guaranteed goals to the club, for me it's an absolute no-brainer. And we look at the reasons why he wouldn't necessarily go to Liverpool. Again, the biggest thing is the money. Liverpool, do they want to spend the release clause money? Supposedly not, which means that Chelsea go in the driving seat. As well as that, Timo Werner will be coming in and competing with the best attack in the Premier League. You've got Sadio Mane on the left. He's not going to get in there right now. Bobby Firmino is arguably top 3 number 9s in the Premier League. I think he's actually extremely underrated. And then you've got Mohamed Salah, who's been one of the best Premier League players since he came in from Roma. Timo Werner's got a good thing going on right now at Red Bull Leipzig. Under Julian Nagelsmann, he's one of the best tacticians in world football. He's a bright manager, and RB Leipzig plays some very good football. Werner going to Liverpool would actually hinder Timo Werner's development, and I don't think he'd get into the team. Even though he's a very good prolific striker, I don't think he'd get into that Liverpool front three, and he'd be kind of competing for something where he's got a lot to do to get into that Liverpool team. Whereas at Chelsea, even though I back Tammy and I back Christian Pulisic, I back Ziyech and I back Hudson-Odoi, I think the barriers to entry in the Chelsea team are actually a lot lower for someone of Timo Werner's ability, and I think that the way that Chelsea play, we could create absolute carnage in the final third if we find ways to incorporate the pressing nature of a Mason Mount, the interchangeability that Pulisic has to be able to play on a wing, play in the number 10. Chelsea would have one of the most dynamic attacks in the Premier League, with Ziyech's ability on the right-hand side to cut in on the left and then ghost into the middle off the shoulder of the defender. Chelsea would be able to create some incredible options going forward. Ziyech putting the balls in, Reece James putting the balls in. I need a rest. Now that's too much to handle. So the question that I want to ask to you guys in the comments down below, we know that Timo Werner is a very, very good player. Chelsea supposedly are ready to make 2 marquee signings this summer. Considering Werner's release clause, 50 million, do you think that Werner would take up one of those spots as a marquee signing, or do you think that we could go and buy Werner if we activate that release clause and he wants to come to Chelsea and then still make 2 more marquee signings? I know we're getting a little bit carried away. I know some people will look at the title of this video and think, oh, Benson thinks it's already done. Just wait till he signs for Liverpool, then he'll be a living meme. Maybe, but I don't really care. I think we've come up with some good debates in this video today as to why Timo Werner could be the dream signing for Chelsea this summer. We've spoken about him before on the channel. It's something I would absolutely love to see. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think this could happen? Where do you think he would play? Would he just take over from Tammy? Would he be directly competing with Tammy? Or could we see him playing on the left with that ability to cut inside and act as a second striker? But anyway, thank you guys for watching today. As I said at the start of the video, if we can hit 3,000 likes, That would be phenomenal. Hopefully this block nose goes by tomorrow because I want to do another tier list video. You guys are showing so much love on them, and I've got some sick ideas that I want to bring to the George Benson Football channel. Subscribe if you're new. I love you all. Have a good day.